Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, why wasn't I at my desk? I'll tell you why. Taking the work news to the news. Manager told us to consider other places to work. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Why wasn't I at my desk? I'll tell you why. About 15 years ago I worked in a large hospital for kids in the maintenance department. Our manager, let's call her Karen, was a major B*TCH. No one on our team liked her and we outwardly showed no respect for her after her constant harassment towards us in the 2 years she worked there. She would call us on the maintenance radios and be rude or tell the guys they were being incompetent. It was beyond micromanagement but also rude on top of it. She expected the maintenance guys to come do work at her house for free. Or would tell some of the hospital vendors she would guarantee the hospital contract if they did work at her house for cheap. She used to brag about this to me. Karen and I were the only women in our department of about 25 people. I was a mouthy 20-something-year-old and didn't care for her attitude and regularly would say, yeah, sure, whatever, when she asked me to do things. I would do what she asked because it was my job, but I would have made a non-committal remark like that. One time she asked me to come to her house and help her pull down dead trees in her backyard since she was having a pool installed. I said no, mainly cause I wouldn't do it for someone I liked, let alone her, and pretty soon after she started treating me even worse than she did before. She had been trying to get me in trouble since then. Such as CCing her buddy in HR on emails to me asking for status on projects that I was working on and wanted my replies in writing. Fast forward 6 months later. Me and one of the maintenance guys were chatting in the office and I was 5 months pregnant with my first baby. She asked me to do something, I don't remember what, and I said, yeah. Whatever, sure. I'll do that in a few minutes. And I turn back around to talk to my coworker. She is standing behind me and I hear her whisper, I wish I could slap the *T out of you. I can see my coworker saw her say it too and I made no comment, but I was shocked. I acted like I didn't hear her though. She left the office a minute later to do something. I get up and walk down the hall to employee health department cause I am fuming and my heart was racing. Pissed. Also 5 months pregnant. The nurse has me lay down for a bit, take my vitals, write up a formal report. An hour later send me back to my desk as okay to continue working. When I log back in I see an email from Karen, with HRCC asking where I had been for the last hour as she called the office phone a bunch of times and had abandoned my desk. So I emailed her back. I apologize for being away from my desk. When you said you'd like to slap the *T out of me, I was so upset I had to be calmed down and have mine and my baby's vitals checked at employee health and they were concerned about my hostile working environment and wanted me to stay there for the full hour. I made sure I BCC'd her buddy in HR and all of HR, her boss and his boss to make sure everyone saw it. I was summoned to HR about 30 minutes later. I knew Karen hadn't seen my reply yet, this was early 2000s and her computer was down in the office near me. They had me go home for the day and put me on admin leave for 3 extra days. I came back to the office to see her desk had been emptied out and we never saw her again. Those guys in maintenance threw me the best baby shower ever 3 months later. Taking the work news to the news. I'm still unsure if it's really compliance, but my ex-employer announced some news regarding our jobs. It was obviously false, but instead of calling the bullshit, I treated it exactly as I would have if it was true, and it bounced back in their face. It was a while ago, when I was working in a community-based organization. We provided end-of-the-line shelter for people and did rights advocacy in a medium town, 100K. The salary was low but okay, but most employees were there because they believed in what we did. The main problem was the manager. She didn't act accordingly to the set of values the organization was based on. She was grossly overpaid compared to employees, took everything personal, made sure we were cut off from the administrators, and created an atmosphere where people feared retribution. We were unionized, but after a few months I realized no one was ever filing complaints, even for trivial matters, because they feared she was going to lash back at them. Turns out she had done it to a few people in the past. Once I figured I wasn't going to stay there much longer, I decided to sign all the complaints I could. According to union, I could sign anything I witnessed even if I wasn't the target, and figured I would see them to the end and leave. That way administrators couldn't claim not knowing, and there was a chance for my colleague to have a better work environment. So, of course, the next few months were a living hell. She picked on me regularly. Still, most people sided with me, at least privately, most of them fearing she would do the same treatment to them if they declared it publicly. One morning, she calls a staff meeting and explains that a large amount of complaints have been filed in the last months, looks at me, and the cost to settle them or to pay the lawyers to fight them might bankrupt the organization, and everyone is thus at risk of losing their job soon. Insert ominous music. Panic ensues. My colleagues is crying, they're calling there, so a lot of people are begging me to take them back, stating she got the lesson. Some of them are genuinely pissed at me. IMO, it was obviously bullsh*t made to turn them against me. I mean, the sole emergency housing of a 100K city, annually filled at 115% capacity, would be closing for a dozen complaints where I'm not even asking for money in any form, over legal fees which are usually budgeted in advance. Come on, it's basic fear brewing schemes. Normally, I would have questioned it during the meeting or tried to reason with them afterwards. But that time, I decided to comply with the narrative and treat it as true. I left for my break and did what I would have done if we were really closing, appealing to the public outrage to help us fulfilling our mission. I called the news. Told them verbatim the morning announcement, the service hole it would create in the community, the job impact it would have in the city, etc. The local news picked it up. They called the manager and administrators about running the story, questioning how come there were enough complaints to threaten a 35-year-old pillar of the community services, asking what the complaints were about, etc. Before 4 p.m. that same day, we had another meeting to explain that we must have misunderstood the first meeting, as the organization was in no way, shape or form in danger of closing. Sure, we must have misunderstood. Morale of the story: let those who brewed the piss drink it. Manager told us to consider other places to work. As you can guess, the story ends exactly how you think it will. We had someone who was promoted to a management position, one step up on a very long ladder, and instantly became a tyrant. For months she has made our lives hell and micromanaged every step of the way. One day, she got upset over a relatively minor mistake and sent us all an all-caps email lambasting us for the error. In the email, she told us that if we couldn't do something so simple, we should start to consider other places to work because it isn't a good fit. Keep in mind, most of us have been here for a while and have been at the top of our KPIs for the region. Of her team of 4, she received her 4th resignation letter today, just a week and a half after her email. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.